Hi everyone. In this week's video, what I want to share with all of you is a best practice related to diversity, equity, and inclusion training. So your organization, like many organizations, might be engaging in training, and training can happen in different ways. There's organizations that like to do a combination of in-person training where they're bringing in a trainer that is doing it live in that moment and is engaging folks in experiential activities to strengthen and deepen their learning. You also might have Zoom trainings that are happening, especially in today's environments where things are still in hybrid form. So you might have somebody who's on Zoom, they're live and giving you training in a particular topic, or you might be watching something that's been pre-recorded. Irrespective of what way you might be having these discussions, what I always share with organizations is that training and attending a training session does not translate into behavior change. So information does not equal transformation. I'm guilty of saying that over and over and over again. And that's because when we are learning something conceptually, that doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to put it into practice. So what helps putting something into practice, and a best practice that I've used with organizations, is setting up communities of practice. What do I mean by that? I mean that after you have individuals going through whatever training you have organized for them, or a combination of the ones that we've discussed, what you might want to do is get a group together that is going to discuss what they've learned, be able to use each other as the wisdom in the room to ask each other questions, or maybe things that they didn't want to discuss with a large group, they might have an opportunity to ask within that small group. But more importantly, to hold each other accountable for the progress that they're going to make and the plans, how they're going to execute on that behavior change. So what are they going to do differently as a result of attending that training? And what are they going to put into practice? How are they going to be able to measure their success? How will they know that they've actually changed? And that's what the community of practice is there to support. And one thing that this can also highlight within an organization is when the individuals are from different functional areas or different teams, it can start to break down the silos. Because what typically happens when these individuals that form a community of practice get together is they might be talking about the training and keeping each other accountable, but inevitably what happens is they start talking about work and what else is going on with them. And so in that way, you start to have organically these opportunities for sharing knowledge, sharing best practices, and really breaking down the silos within organizations that typically happens with functional areas that tend to keep to themselves. So this is one way in which not only are you leveling up the knowledge that individuals are going to have as it relates to whatever diversity, equity, and inclusion topic you're choosing to roll out, but then you're also going to be able to really foster inclusivity by creating these communities of practice. So that would be one best practice that I would say that really allows that concept to really translate into practice. But I'm curious if you have some best practices that really get us from our knowledge into actually action and how you're going to put that new habit into play, then I want to hear about it. Please share in the comments below.